Thought Reflection 0418-26 13 Sages 1 Awareness. Across the spiral of human existence, a consistent thread begins to emerge, one that does not rely on shared culture, language, or doctrine, but instead points toward a similar realization. Across different eras and regions, certain individuals describe a shift in perception, a movement away from secondhand belief and toward direct experience, a dissolving of the sense of separation, and a recognition that what we seek is not something to be gained, but something to be remembered. There are many who could be included in this conversation, but for the sake of clarity and contrast, a smaller group has been chosen. These 13 figures offer a range of perspectives across time and culture without overwhelming the discussion, and for simplicity, they will be referred to here as the 13 Sages. Laozi, from around the 6th century before the Common Era, in ancient China. Laozi is traditionally associated with the Zhou dynasty period. He taught alignment with the Tao, emphasizing simplicity, non-force, and harmony with the natural flow of reality. Siddhartha Gautama, from around the 5th century before the Common Era, in northern India, near modern-day Nepal. Siddhartha Gautama lived in the region of the Ganges Plain among a mix of emerging spiritual traditions. He identified suffering as central to human life and offered a path beyond it through awareness, impermanence, and non-attachment. Jesus Christ, from around year 4 before the Common Era to approximately year 30 of the Common Era, in Roman Judea, near modern-day Israel and Palestine. Jesus lived under Roman rule in a deeply religious and politically complex region. He emphasized love, forgiveness, and the presence of the divine within, pointing toward inner transformation. Nagarjuna, from approximately 150 to 250 of the Common Era, in India. Nagarjuna lived in classical India during a time of expanding Buddhist thought. He developed the concept of emptiness, showing that nothing exists independently or permanently. Adi Shankaracharya, from approximately 788 to 820 of the Common Era, in India. Adi Shankaracharya traveled across the Indian subcontinent debating and teaching philosophy. He articulated non-duality, emphasizing that the self and ultimate reality are one. Al-Hallaj, from approximately 858 to 922 of the Common Era, in the Persia and Iraq region. Al-Hallaj lived within the Islamic world during the Abbasid Caliphate. He expressed unity with the divine through direct mystical experience, challenging established norms. Rumi, from 1207 to 1273 of the Common Era, in Persia and Anatolia, in modern-day Turkey. Rumi lived during a time of cultural and spiritual exchange across the Islamic world. His poetry explores love as a force that dissolves the separate self. Meister Eckhart, from approximately 1260 to 1328 of the Common Era, in medieval Germany. Meister Eckhart lived within the Christian scholastic tradition of medieval Europe. He taught that what we seek as the divine is not found through ideas or beliefs, but within direct awareness itself. Ramana Maharshi, from 1879 to 1950 in southern India. Ramana Maharshi lived a quiet life centered around the Arunachala region. He guided seekers through self-inquiry, pointing to the awareness beyond identity. Jiddu Krishnamurti, from 1895 to 1986, born in India and later speaking globally. Krishnamurti rejected organized belief systems and emphasized direct observation without conditioning. He pointed to freedom from conditioning as the key to transformation. Ram Dass, from 1931 to 2019, in the United States and India. Ram Dass bridged Western psychology and Eastern spirituality. He emphasized presence, compassion, and the idea of being here now. Osho, from 1931 to 1990, in India. Osho taught in India and later internationally, challenging social norms and conditioning. He encouraged direct experience, awareness, and inner freedom. Eckhart Tolle, born in 1948 and still living, born in Germany, and later teaching in Canada. Eckhart Tolle focuses on presence as the key to dissolving suffering and reconnecting with deeper awareness. When viewed together, something begins to take shape, not as a shared doctrine, but as a shared direction. These individuals, separated by centuries and continents, were not building a single system, yet they consistently pointed toward a similar shift in perception. Rather than asking people to believe in something new, they pointed back toward direct experience. Whether through stillness, inquiry, devotion, or observation, each emphasized that truth is not something to be learned secondhand, but something to be recognized firsthand. A common theme that emerges is the questioning of the separate self. In different ways, they challenge the assumption that we exist as isolated individuals, instead suggesting that what we call the self may be incomplete, conditioned, or even illusory. What replaces it is not another identity, but a deeper sense of connection, described as awareness, presence, the Tao, God, or simply what is. From there, another pattern becomes clear. The shift is not about adding more, but about letting go. Letting go of attachment, identity, control, and the constant need to interpret experience. What remains is often described not as something new, but as something that was always there, unnoticed beneath layers of thought and conditioning. And as this recognition takes place, certain qualities seem to arise naturally. Compassion, clarity, and a sense of ease are not presented as rules to follow, but as byproducts of seeing more clearly. When the sense of separation softens, the way one relates to others begins to change without effort. There's also a shared limitation they all encounter, the difficulty of putting this into words. Some speak in paradox, others in poetry, others in silence or direct questioning, but all seem to circle around something that cannot be fully captured through language. The words point to it, but they are not the thing itself. What they describe does not seem to arrive in pieces, but as a whole, something understood all at once rather than step by step. The challenge then is translation. Something complete has to be broken into language, and in that process, some of its depth is inevitably lost, which may be why each expresses it differently, using their own method to carry what cannot fully be said. Taken together, the pattern suggests something subtle but consistent, that what many of these individuals discovered was not a new idea, but a recognition of something fundamental, something that has always been present, waiting to be seen. Across different cultures, languages, and periods of time, the same realization continues to surface, not as a shared script, but as a shared recognition. And perhaps that is what brings it all together, the possibility that these are not separate discoveries, but reflections of the same underlying truth, seen from different perspectives. Not something introduced into human experience, but something revealed within it. And once recognized, it feels less like discovery and more like remembering.